Well, now, if you were sitting with Shirley MacLaine, what would you ask her? I don't know. I wonder what. I think of you and I think of The Apartment.
You think of me often?
Well, Shirley, let's see. When's the last time I thought of you? No, I don't, and that's interesting because I think you're a world-famous personality. You're recognized by people, and yet, if you don't have a current movie, the public tends to not think of you. You generically, all people in your position. Does that upset you that you're not constantly on the public's mind?
It's just so much loss for them.
Well, absolutely. When you were a little girl, did you want to be an actress? Was that something you thought about as a child?
No, I wanted to be a dancer.
But that was an obsession, would you
Yeah.
say? Really?
Yeah.
Do you feel frustrated that you're not a dancer full-time, that most people think of you as an actress than a dancer?
I'm a dancer enough. It kills me. I love it.
Yeah.
But like all things in life, you don't feel rewarded, at least I don't, unless I've struggled for it. It's like with exercise. You just have to go through the struggle of it in order to be healthy afterward.
Well, it's like life in general, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what happens when people give their kids too much money and they never learn and never achieve on their own, so they therefore don't feel any value of their own self because they haven't earned anything.
And again, it's that balance of positive and negative that makes life what it is. To try to do without negativity is like trying to do without the combustion of everything.
Well, now, you wanted to be a dancer, and you studied to be a dancer, and you are a dancer. You're very good. How did acting become the thing that seemed to propel your career?
I started off as a ballet dancer, and I had a very shrewd teacher in Washington, D.C., who said to me one day, "Shirley, you just move your face too much. You're acting too much. You're feeling the music and the steps and the meaning behind the choreography. There's no meaning. It's like the scene in Turning Point. Don't think." Well, to tell me not to think is like telling a 747 not to fly. And she said to me, you ought to think about something else, even though you can dance, where you can move your face and think. That's acting.
Acting, yeah. Except I remember, since we're the same age, I paced my career. I've been thinking about you this afternoon. 20 years ago, you were 26. What year did you do The Apartment? Do you recall?
Round about then.
It was close to 20 years ago. And then I remember reading that you were a thoughtful person, and it was like, wow, here's an actress who's good and pretty, but also has a brain. And, of course, now it seems incredible to even talk about it. But 20 years ago, that was kind of a new thing. The public and the press had an expectation for an actress, if she was good, to be kind of an empty-headed person. You were kind of the first, I think, one of the first to break that sound barrier.
Well, yeah, you know what the transition was? They called me a kook.
Right.
Instead of empty-headed.
That's right.
Because I would do more what they would call unconventional things. Right. I looked up the word kook, and the closest I could get to it was Kookaburra, Australia, which means jackass, laughing jackass.
Yeah.
So I said, I don't want to be a laughing jackass. Anyway, that's not what I am. So you got to find some other tag to hang on me, because that's not what I am.
Were you surprised at the quick success you had as an actress?
It wasn't very quick.
Well, now, it seems to me it was. Perhaps it wasn't to you.
It really wasn't. I did The Trouble with Harry, which was a big hit in Saigon, even before the war, and played Paris for 12 years. That's about it. I think maybe 8 other people
That's John
saw it.
Forsythe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I did Artists and Models, which was next to the last film that Dean and Jerry did together, Total Wipeout. Then I did Around the World in 80 Days, and it's a wonder I ever worked again after that, playing a blue-eyed Hindu. And then I played Hot Spell, where I was a very dramatic daughter of Shirley Booth. Nobody saw that. Then I did The Matchmaker, where I played. So I'm already up to 8 pictures,
Good
and
Lord.
I think I hit it on the 9th picture.
You were really hanging in there. Was there anyone telling you, keep going, Shirley, you're going to make it. You really got what it takes? Was there anyone saying that to you?
Well, I just never doubted it, so nobody had to tell me.
I mean, you were working, so, right? What the heck?
Oh, I was perfectly happy in my little apartment at the beach, and my little daughter, and Steve, and the dogs, and it never occurred to me that there'd be that much more for me anyway.
Are you ever embarrassed by the widespread public dissemination of your relationships with men other than your husband?
No.
Do you care about the things that are written?
No.
In other words, you're not sensitive to what the press says or people think?
Well, you know, if I did a really dastardly thing, something horrible, I would feel more bad about that than the fact that they print it, and they have every right to print it if I do it. I don't think that what I've done in those areas has been bad anyway, or I wouldn't do it. So,
So you're pretty content with your life?
Yeah,
Pretty
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
I've got a lot more to figure out, but I'm having a wonderful time.
You happy about America right now?
You know something that's so healthy about America being as sick as it is right now? We're the one country that really does have the courage to face up to what the trouble is.
That's right.
And publicly admit it in the face of the whole world, have this family argument out in the open with the sun shining right on it.
That's right. I.F. Stone said that himself, that we do forget, being in the middle of the hurricane, how wonderful it is to have the hurricane raging, because no place else is it allowed. It's very true.
I'm not in favor of the hurricane exactly, but I think mankind obviously has so much to figure out, and this is the one country that makes it a public process.
Absolutely. Shirley, we'll look for you in the future and look for your restorative values of life. Thanks very much.
Restorative?
Yeah.
Or historative?
Both, but I said restorative. Restoring one's faith in one's fellow man. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.